Hey, everybody, this is your daily Philcast, a daily prayer and affirmation podcast where we delve into the Word together. I read you guys a devotional, we do a prayer, and I read affirmations to you guys. So you're either able to start your day off in the right headspace, or you're able to, absorb these things into your life, so that you know these things to be true. Um, Guys, we've been in Genesis. We're still in Genesis now. We just did Genesis 15, which was God's covenant with Abram. Um, and I absolutely loved that chapter. So many cool things happen in it, like a ritual between God and Abram that ends in a covenant between them. So really cool stuff there. And the story we're getting into today is the story between Sarai and Hagar, which is this is some really just wacky stuff here. So we're going to go ahead and get into it, guys. I like to get into the word as quickly as we can here. So we're going to go ahead and get into it. This is Genesis 16. Now Sarai, Abram's wife, had borne him no children. She had a female Egyptian servant whose name was Hagar. And Sarai said to Abram, "Behold, now the Lord has prevented me from bearing children. Go in to my servant, so that I shall obtain children by her." And Abram listened to the voice of Sarai. So after Abram had lived 10 years in the land of Canaan, Sarai, Abram's wife, took Hagar the Egyptian, her servant, and gave her to Abram her husband as a wife. And he went in to Hagar, and she conceived. And when she saw that she had conceived, she looked with contempt on her mistress. And Sarai said to Abram, "May the wrong done to me be on you. I gave my servant to your embrace, and when she saw that she had conceived, she looked on me with contempt. May the Lord judge between you and me." But Abram said to Sarai, "Behold, your servant is in your power. Do to her as you please." Then Sarai dealt harshly with her, and she fled from her. The angel of the Lord found her by the spring of water in the wilderness, the spring on the way to Shur. And he said, "Hagar, servant of Sarai, where have you come from and where are you going?" She said, "I am fleeing from my mistress Sarai." The angel of the Lord said to her, "Return to your mistress and submit to her." The angel of the Lord also said to her, "I will surely multiply your offspring so they cannot be numbered for multitude." And the angel of the Lord said to her, "Behold, you are pregnant and shall bear a son. You shall call his name Ishmael, because the Lord has listened to your affliction. He shall be a wild donkey of a man, his hand against everyone and everyone's hand against him, and he shall dwell over all his kinsmen." So she called the name of the Lord who spoke to her, "You are a God of seeing," for she said, "Truly I have seen him who looks after me." Therefore the well was called Bir Lahai Roi. It lies between Kadesh and Berad. And Hagar bore Abram a son, and Abram called the name of his son, who Hagar bore, Ishmael. Abram was 86 years old when Hagar bore Ishmael to Abram. So, like I said, guys, there's a lot of stuff here that it's really wacky, especially by like our standards of what we kind of see and view the world as these days. It was, you can say whatever about it being a different time and stuff like that, but the way that things worked here was so different that it's a little bit hard to wrap your head around sometimes. So I have a little bit of notes here from Genesis 16, 1 through 15 here. I'm just going to read this to you guys. In her impatience, Sarah tries to fulfill the divine promise through her own initiative means by her maidservant Hagar. The immediate result is strife in the home, and its long-term consequences mixed blessings of numerous progeny who will inherit Hagar's defiant spirit. This natural generation will not bring peace, only the greater seed of Abraham, son of God, the Son of God of peace, can do that. So that's really what's happening here. Sarai wanted to get things moving. Abram was getting very old, and was like, "We're running out of time here for you to start siring children that God has told you will give us a kingdom. So we need to go ahead and start making that happen. Here, marry one of my maids." So he did that, and they had a baby together, and the maid was defiant to the head wife that she saw there. So that's what's happening here. I find this story to be so interesting. Partly because, this is the first time, we've seen God, talk to his chosen. We've seen God talk to Noah and Abraham and Adam, and we've seen that happen. But God comes to Hagar here. An angel of the Lord, it is, that comes to Hagar here and talks to her. This is just a person. This is a slave. This is somebody who was born into somebody else's house. So I find it to be interesting, because these are the kind of people that we want. We want the imperfect people, because they quite literally, if we're reading this word to be fact here, they quite literally have a defiant spirit in them that is kind of keeping them from being able to do things on their own. So they do need people that are strong in the word and strong in these things to come to them and bring them back to reality. And guys, I very well could be one of those people, because I have a very, very defiant spirit. So guys, so thank you so much for listening to the word with me here. I'm loving getting to start my day by doing this every day. Even if we're not into commandments and things that are really what we base our faith off of here. Genesis is these are really stories that we're hearing here, not really commandments or anything like that. But this is the voice of God that we are hearing here. This is all God breathed, and this is even if it's just stories like this where we're trying to have children and stuff like that. We're still getting to hear what God sounds like, and know what his voice sounds like when he does talk to us. His voice is commanding, but his voice is never confusing. So that's the biggest takeaway I think to probably take away from this here today. Guys, we're going to go ahead and get into the devotional together here, but before we do get into the devotional, I do want to tell you guys, if you've been listening to the podcast already, thank you so much. But guys, I do have a sponsor for this podcast. I know I've only been doing this for a few weeks now, so it might be kind of everyone's like, what? You have a sponsor already? Yeah, I found somebody who liked what I was doing, and they wanted to help me make this a reality. So really, this is all happening because of them. So just big thank you to them. But they did give me a lot of ad read to read, but I don't really like reading the ad read that they gave me. I don't sound good when I do it, and it feels very awkward for me to just kind of sit here and read just ad read of stuff that I don't 100% know if I buy everything that they're selling. So which don't not sponsor me anymore, guys. I'm sorry. Anyway, so what they did do, though, they sent me a bunch of testimonials, and I've been taking just the audio from those testimonials and putting them into the podcast. So what I'm going to do here, guys, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stop the recording here, and I'm going to just start the recording back. And whenever I'm going to put the ad read in, and we're going to start after that again. Okay.
Hey, it's me, Joe Pesci. What do I look like? It's me, Joe Pesci. What do I look like? Do I look like a clown to you? What kind of funny am I? Anyway, so go on to patreon.com/PhillyDuets and sign up for his Patreon. It's $5 a month, and you help him make sure that this podcast turns out well, and that him and his wife are able to pay their rent. So It's me, Joe Pesci, from my cousin Vinny, and the Godfather. So I'm friends with Robert De Niro and Martin Scorsese. So come on down. Come on down to patreon.com/PhillyDuets for all the goodies. Bye. Wow. Thank you so much, Joe Pesci. I'm always blown away by the kind of people that we get on the podcast to do these testimonials. Just like really like actually famous people and stuff that like have been coming on here and doing this like ad read and stuff. And it's also personalized to like my podcast here, that's my favorite thing about it. It's just like, so anyway, thank you so much, Joe. Very, very lucky to have such a star-studded cast on this podcast here. Let's do it. So, guys, we're gonna get into we're gonna get into the devotional together here. This one is called Taking Risks, and it's based off of Acts 15, 25 through 26, which is, so we all agreed to choose some men and send them to you with our dear friends Barnabas and Paul, men who have risked their lives for the name of our Lord Jesus Christ. In his book Stuntman, My Car-Crashing, Plane-Jumping, Bone-Breaking, Death-Defying Hollywood Life, Hal Needham reflects on taking risks. Needham has slugged it out in fistfights, raced cars at high speed, walked on wings of airborne planes, and even been set on fire. He risks his life to entertain film audiences. Paul and Barnabas were also men who had risked their lives, but their motivation was far different. Their goal was to exalt Christ through the preaching of the gospel. As a missionary of the Roman Empire, Paul faced hazards that resulted in shipwrecks, beatings, persecutions, and imprisonment, just to name a few. But Paul was more than willing to take these risks to make Christ known. God has provided His Spirit to empower you, and His Word to make the message clear. Ask God for the courage to speak up and witness for the Savior. Taking the risk will be well worth it. And that was written by somebody named Dennis Fisher. So thank you so much, Dennis. And I cannot agree more with what this is saying here, guys. Something that I think we hear a lot as Christians, and if you're not a Christian and you're listening to this, then it's something that you probably think that you don't want to shove your religion down people's throat. At the end of the day, that is, of course, something that we want for people. We want to, we want people to, take on the mantle of Christian and wear it proudly. But what does that really mean? What does it mean to do that? Being a Christian is not easy. And if you are a Christian and the only thing that it has done is make your life better, then you are one of the few. And I'm very happy for you that your life has been so awesome. But you're one of the few who has been able to say that. Life doesn't stop for the vast majority of us. Life doesn't stop, and life is still very hard. We still live in a world that is hard to live in. And it's harder to live in when the people that you see around you will honestly laugh in your face for saying that you believe in this stuff. Guys, it's not an easy walk. It's not an easy life to live. Because people think that you're crazy sometimes. There is good news in that, though, because we have to change the way that we live. We have to change the way that we think. We have to change the way that we treat other people so that they can see the kind of love that we are talking about. And that's very hard to do. It's hard to love somebody who is laughing at you for the things that you believe so strongly about. But those are the people that we need to love harder. I've said it before, and I'm going to keep saying it here, guys. It's not their fault that they don't like Christians, and and things like that. I know I have been church hurt, and I know so many Christians have been church hurt as well. That church hurt is what the unbelievers that are so passionate about being unbelievers, that's what they feel. They don't have a name for it. They just think it's Christians. It's Christians that did it, so it's Christians that are the problem. And it's up to us to take those people in and shelter them and let them know that, like, guys, you're loved. You're loved, even if somebody made you feel like you weren't. That person was wrong when they made you feel like that, because we are meant to love. We are creatures designed to love, and the Word does tell us that if we are capable of love, then we are beings of God. So the fact that all of us have the capacity to love means that we are born of God, and I feel that that's very empowering. It's empowering, and it makes me excited to go out into the world and edify Christ, because I want to be able to share that kind of love with people around me. So, guys, thank you so much for listening. Before I let you go here, I want to read some affirmations to you, and then I'm going to say them to myself as well. Again, like, if you're starting your day listening to this podcast, it's so that you can start your day off in the right headspace. But if you're listening to this at night, or if you're just listening to this when you do have time to, guys, these are things that are true, and they're things that I'm saying to you because I want you to absorb them. I want you to enact these things in your daily life because they're true. They make you a better person. And if you do put these things on, it becomes your armor, and that is very, very powerful in the world that we live in today. Guys, you are deserving of love. You are saved by grace. You are considerate. You are a blessing to those around you. You are not broken beyond repair. You are a child of God. You are kind. You are generous. You are faithful. You are loving. You are not a failure. You are forgiven. You are not a victim. You are a warrior. You are supported. You are stronger than Satan. He is so weak. God is more, and you can be a vessel for love. And I am deserving of love. I am saved by grace. I am considerate. I am a blessing to those around me. I am not broken beyond repair. I am a child of God. I am kind. I am generous. I am faithful. I am loving. I am not a failure. I am forgiven. I am not a victim. I am a warrior. I am supported. I am stronger than Satan. He is so weak. God is more. I can be a vessel for love. Guys, I pray that you go out into the world and that you treat others with grace, and that grace is given to you. And I pray that you use discernment in the things that you see, the things that you hear, the things that you say, and the things that you do. Because that is the difference between love and hate, between righteousness and confusion. So use discernment in all the things that you do, and guys, try your hardest to put God before you in everything that you do, because God is always going before you.